Give a damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way, please, I'm trying to get paid. Not today, not today, not today.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Straight No Chaser. I'm your boy, the Bro-Kage, and captain of the Red Cloud Pirates, Petty Pat. And on today's episode, we gonna talk to you about Fast X, Fast 10, whatever the hell you want to call it. Let's just call it what it is, a straight reach by the creators of the Fast franchise. Whew, let me tell you. And I know y'all will wonder, why did I watch 10? You know what? It's one of those things where I'm in too deep with these movies. Like, I've already started watching them all. I already started 9. I might as well ride it out and finish it, see how this story ends. Because honestly, 10 was rough. Now I understand why I did not go pay my hard-earned money to go see this in theaters. Speaking of which, I'd like you to welcome my boys, Brian and Dom Lego versions, to the table. You can't really see them down here, but they're gonna be down here chilling with me for the duration of this video. But yeah, let's talk about this movie, man. First off, I'm gonna go off and say this movie should have low-key just been called like The Revenge of Dom, or Dom and Little Brian, or Dom and Son. It just literally should have been called that, because you really didn't see much of the supporting cast in this movie for major moments, except for like maybe the first, I want to say 30 minutes of the movie. Like, then they kind of all just go their separate ways. This movie kind of centers around Dom and his son Lil B. And again, I guess you're wondering, who is Lil B? Lil B is the son of Dom and Elena. If you don't remember Elena is the cop from Fast 5 that helped Hobbs essentially track down Dom and his crew. And eventually, at the end, ended up helping them steal the safe and all the money in the end. But anyways, yes, her and Dom hooked up. This was while Letty was supposedly supposed to be dead. Before Letty was revealed to actually be alive, Dom, again, hooked up with this chick. He had a son with this chick. They did not reveal that he had a son with Elena until, I want to say, Fate of the Furious, which is the 8th movie, I think. And I think she never gave him a first name, so hence why Dom gave him the name Brian, because this was at the time when Paul Walker has passed away. So this was like a kind of way to pay homage to Paul Walker and his character Brian by naming his son after him. Also with these movies, I love that you're trying to keep Paul Walker's legacy alive with the whole Brian still trying to, say Brian's around, but essentially you've turned this man into a babysitter. This man is essentially always watching the kids now. Mia just goes out and do shit, but Brian's always watching the kids. Honestly, for the sake of the movie and for the sake of his legacy, I would have rather you just kind of like killed his character off and like preserved his legacy instead of just turning him into a glorified babysitter. That's just my personal opinion, and a few of my coworkers and buddies feel that way as well, but that's just my opinion. That's just one man's opinion compared to a bunch of other people's opinions. So the villain for this movie was the man, Jason Momoa. And let's keep it a buck. Jason Momoa, if it was not for Jason Momoa in this movie would be straight dog shit. Like garbage. It was already garbage. And bro, if it was not for Jason Momoa, this movie would have been butt cheeks. Like, it was butt, but it wasn't complete butt cheeks, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it was butt, but wasn't butt cheeks. I guess you could call it mid. It ain't even mid. Nah, it was just straight butt cheeks. It was just straight butt. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Fast X, boy, they are keeping this trend up by giving every member in the crew superpowers. And if you don't know what I mean, let's talk about some of these superpowers. Dom apparently has the superpower to come out of any crash unscathed, unscarred and with a crispy white tee at all times. This man does not get beat up when he crashes his cars. And I'm sure you guys are thinking, oh, he has a roll cage in all his cars. I'm like, there's no way. You seen the roofs of this man's cars get collapsed in with him in it, and this man always survives. No scratches, no nothing. And that white tank top or white t-shirt V-neck he is wearing always comes out crispy as fuck, like the first time he pulled it out the package. Now, another one of Dom's superpowers. Dom seems to have the superpower to do anything behind the wheel of a car. Now, let's talk about this one scene in the movie here. So, not to mention, he does one of his cringy Dom lines. But first off, before I get to what happened in this particular scene, Dom has a history of doing just cringe ass lines. Like, I don't know if it's just how he's delivering them or they're just the lines, just how they're written are just not good. Let's talk about some of them. Here's one. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Garbage. You know the funny thing about street races? The street always wins. And this man proceeds to stomp an entire parking structure down. Matter of fact, here's the clip.
Thing about street fights, the street always wins.
What's another one here? Ooh. All the family references, man. All the family references. I don't have friends. I have family. Anything is possible with family. But anyways, and then he hits us with this one. So there's a time in the movie where Dom and his son are cornered in a car, and Jason Momoa is essentially about to basically kill them. Now, they're sitting in front of a dam. Keep in mind, all this is going on at the top of a dam. Now, Jason Momoa's thinks he has them dead to rights. He's about to basically go in for his kill shot. And then Dom gets on the walkie and delivers this line.
You made one mistake. You never took my car.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Pat, it might not be that bad. It's not that bad. Bro, that shit was garbage. Then, matter of fact, let's watch the rest of the scene and proceed to see what happens. This is where Fast got me, because when I was watching this movie right out gate, when I started the movie, I think we got through a lot of the movie and there was no over the top stunts that didn't make sense in the movie really. Then we got to the bomb scene in Rome. And then that's where all hell broke loose, and they just went nuts, big booger balls on this damn movie. Not to mention, let's go back into the superpowers for each crew. You have, well, I don't really consider Deckard Shaw a part of Dom's crew. Like, he just kind of appears when they need help with something in particular, but this man has the ability to somehow bring people back from the dead as well. Cypher also has the ability, the power to bring people back from the dead, while also being a computer genius. I forgot to mention that to you guys. Fast X takes 10 years. Takes place 10 years after the events of 9. And let me tell you, man. Oh, man. I'm telling you. This movie, man. This movie. I look, man. I'm glad y'all enjoy making these movies, and they kind of did a cool little speech at the beginning of the movie. They brought in Dom and Mia's grandmother. She made this speech, which I felt like kind of was a real speech for the cast and crew, not the characters. I feel like that was a real speech she gave that was dedicated to the cast and crew about their legacy, about building this franchise essentially from nothing. But yeah, and then we got Lil B. Man, Lil B, y'all got to tell me who baby this is, because there ain't no way in hell Elena and damn Dom produced this baby. Because, like, y'all gotta go get a DNA test. Y'all gotta make sure Tez and Roman wasn't dipping their hands into the cookie jar, if you know what I'm saying. Because, like, that ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell Elena and Dom produced that baby. There's no way. That baby is too dark. And I'm not even the one who pointed this out. My wife pointed this out. She was like, why is he black? And I'm like, at first I tried to make it make sense, because I was like, oh, it's Elena and Dom's son. Because at the time I had forgot what Elena looked like. Then I was like, then I Googled her and realized, oh shit. Yeah, this don't really make sense, because they both got fair skin. Dom's supposed to be Italian, Hispanic, Nordic, whatever the hell other bloodlines he has mixed into his blood, which explains John Cena supposedly being his brother because he has a Nordic bloodline, whatever. And then you got Elena, Brazilian, on the fair skin side, lighter skin Brazilian. She don't have dark skin at all. So I'm just trying to, and don't even get me started on the hair. Ain't no way in hell this day, baby. But anyways, maybe that's all you have for casting. But yeah, we got that. Nobody else in the crew really seems to have superpowers, except for maybe Letty. You know, she survived having a whole amnesia scare and a couple of other things. But like, really, Dom, Cypher, and fucking Deckard Shaw seem to have the most ridiculous superpowers. Actually, I take that back. I forget Hobbs. Luke Hobbs has some superpowers too. As you saw with Hobbs and Shaw, where this man essentially ripped a concrete bench out of a wall and started to curl it. Like, this man has superhuman strength. Also has the ability apparently to bring people back from the dead, hence him revealing Letty was still alive. So don't get me wrong, people. I do enjoy these movies. Like, they're entertaining. For the entertainment value, these movies are good. But God, man, y'all are reaching with Fast X. And then on top of that, not Melissa. I don't know why the hell I wanted to say Melissa McCarthy right there. Excuse me. Michelle Rodriguez had the nerve to say this about Marvel movies.
And where can you go? How many Marvel movies can you make?
I know.
Like,
Right.
come on, guys. At some point, we got to get innovative with this.
Okay, if I
Miss Rodriguez, look, I know Marvel is struggling right now to produce good quality movies and TV shows for us right now, but what ground do you have to stand on making that bogus ass statement? That is the stupidest take I've heard on Marvel yet. You realize most of these stories have been written for well over 60 years. Like, Disney has the blueprint to make great Marvel movies. They just suck at following at times. That's it. But you guys just keep making movie after movie after movie and doing more ridiculous shit. Like, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and reveal the big spoiler. So at the end of this movie, we see Michelle Rodriguez and Cypher start to escape Antarctica where pretty much they spent most of the time because Michelle Rodriguez got locked up with Cypher in the agency jail. We'll circle back to the agency here in a second. But yeah, that's pretty much where Letty spent most of her time with Cypher throughout the whole movie, trying to escape this agency prison in Antarctica. They do escape this prison finally at the end of the movie. And this is why I say I don't know how Cypher held on to the submarine from 8 for over 10 years. Maybe it's not the same sub, but either way, this chick still got a fucking submarine, and I don't know how she got it. The reveal, man. The reveal. I was hoping this reveal wasn't true, but it was, and she's back. So this is where I say Cypher has the ability to bring people back from the dead. We see the sub come up through the ice, and guess who opens the hatch? Giselle, Gal Gadot's character. If you don't know who Giselle is, Giselle was in Fast and Furious. She was a part of Braga's crew originally, then she kind of just left and started to do her own thing, and then she eventually joined Dom's crew in 5. Now in, I want to say, what movie was it? 7. 7 is, I think, when they're dealing with either 6 or 7. No, 6. It's when they're dealing with Owen Shaw. And Owen Shaw, they have this whole spiel. If you guys have seen 6, they're on at this airport. They're having this whole big battle on the airstrip while flying this plane. Whatever. We see a moment where Giselle and Han are fighting this guy up in the plane. And Giselle essentially lets go of Han to shoot this guy who was about to come up behind Han and kill him and shoot him and kill him. And we see her fall into the darkness. Now, at first, I hadn't seen this scene in a minute, so I thought she fell into like a fiery crash. So I was like, all right, how the hell she survived that? But I rewatched the scene and realized she just kind of fell into darkness. So we don't really know what happened to her. So there was like a small possibility for her to survive. But like from the height they fell, I thought she was done. So there was no way in hell to bring her character back. But guess what? They did. Just like Han, they brought her back to life. And not only, Han died twice, if y'all don't remember. Han essentially died twice and got brought back to life, if y'all don't know that. But anyways, yeah. Let's circle back to the agency. Now, you remember, I want to say it was 8. Mr. Nobody was introduced, and I think it was played by Kurt Russell. Now, Mr. Nobody was revealed. We find the agency is basically this black ops group. They handle all government issues. They contact Dom and them when they need help to handle all the fucking like shit they don't want to handle essentially or be liable for. So we find out Mr. Nobody has passed and Brie Larson was cast essentially to take over the agency as his daughter and also have, God, who is this guy? I can't remember his name, but I'm about to get it for you. Also, Alan Richardson. If you don't know who Alan Richardson, he's been in Blue Mountain State. He was in The Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart and Josh Gad. He played Hawk in the live-action Titans movie, or not movie, series. So this man is a good actor. So they brought him in. He was kind of like the guy who ended up eventually betraying Dom and them because he was essentially working for Jason Momoa and his dad. And if you don't remember Jason Momoa's dad from, if you don't remember who was Jason Momoa's dad supposed to be, it is the villain from Fast 5, Hernan Reyes. So this is essentially Jason Momoa, who happens to be Reyes' son, getting revenge for Dom for essentially taking everything for him, killing his father, taking all of his money, basically his birthright, basically just fucking his life up. Now, Jason Momoa's character is hilarious in this movie. He is, let me tell you, man, Jason Momoa plays Dante Reyes. And let me tell you, when they first present this man at the beginning of the movie, he just seems like your typical stoic, mean, badass, whatever. He just seems like just type of guy. Then when he finally comes to get Dom and take his revenge on Dom and his family, this man is like, flips the switch. He is like a little bit more eccentric. I want to say a little bit more flamboyant than most of the fast villains we're used to, like painted nails, very bright pastel, lightly pasteled suits. hairstyles. I think he has pigtails at one point in time in the movie. So he was very over the top, but he was great for this movie. This movie needed Jason Momoa. Like, I'm telling you, and I stand by my statement I made earlier. This movie would have been absolute butt cheeks if it was not for Jason Momoa. But like, so I was equating him being different from when we saw him at the beginning, because if you see, he falls into the water. He says he was legally dead for 2 minutes. So I saw maybe him being legally dead for that 2 minutes kind of just like altered his brain chemistry and made him a little different. But no, if you listen to his dad at the beginning of the movie, he was always just crazy. He was always just like that. They just don't show it to you until he gets his time in the movie. But I will say the one thing I will take away from this movie, and the one thing I enjoyed about this movie, the interactions between Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han. I will pay money to see a spinoff with those four. Honestly, I love the chemistry between those characters. The chemistry is hilarious, especially Tej and Roman been going at it for I don't know how many movies, since 5. I feel actually no, Tej and Roman been going at it since Too Fast, Too Furious, and their back and forths are always hilarious. Everything is just hilarious. So that's the one takeaway I would say I would love to see. I would love to see a spinoff of Ramsey, Han, Tej, and Roman get their own movie and go on a mission like they were supposed to, at the beginning of the movie. Like it was just supposed to be them in Rome. But then, of course, they find out it's a setup, and then Dom and company, they got to try to save the day. But anyways, I would love to see that movie happen. If you want to make that movie, if you would like to see that movie happen, let me know in the comments. I don't know, man. I feel like that movie would be good as hell. I feel we were supposed to get, I think, our Tej and Roman movie a long time ago, but I think Tyrese shot it down because he said he didn't want to make he said the franchise was bigger than one man or something like that. I forget the exact quote. But yeah, Tyrese didn't want to do it. He turned it down. Honestly, now I feel like this is the perfect time to strike and do a Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han movie. So get on it, man. I hope y'all do make it. But of course, John Cena comes back as Dom's brother. I think his name is Jacob, if I can't remember. Okay, he is now good, like I said, because this takes place 10 years after the events of 9. So he is now good. Lil B now calls him Uncle Jake. John Cena essentially does die in this movie, and I feel like John Cena dying pretty much sets up the return for Hobbs to come back, because I guess you can't possibly have two wrestlers in one movie. You can't possibly have Hobbs and Jake in the same movie. But low-key, I don't even think this man is dead. Fast loves bringing people back from the dead, so I guarantee you this man did not die in that explosion he was supposed to die in. Not to mention, Jake drives this weird fucking like mortar shell cannon car in here with him and Lil Brian. They're escaping from the agency, and not the agency, or Jason Momoa's goons. It's just a weird cannon car. I don't even know how you would go about making something like that. I don't even know how you would fabricate those cannons. But anyways, that's not my expertise. I'm not a technical man like that. But yeah, essentially he does die, making a big sacrifice to save Lil B. And yeah, I feel like this was just them like saying, all right, we can't possibly have The Rock and John Cena in this movie, which honestly, I feel like having them, I would love to see them, both of them to appear in a movie together. Honestly, I feel like they've squashed their actual real life beef. Shoot, we've seen it on WWE TV with the recent return of The Rock to SmackDown and him and John Cena hugging it up backstage. But, yeah, I kind of wanted to see more John Cena's character, Jacob, like give him a little bit more nuance. Like that little bit we got for him, like he turned into what I thought he would do. He became essentially the fun uncle, like always cracking jokes, like Lil Brian loves him, all that stuff. I did also see in this movie, Letty is having a hard time accepting Lil Brian calling her mom. So that was a big kind of thing. But like I said, man, they kind of reached with this movie, man. And supposedly the rumor is they want to do 2 more of these. And there is also a large rumor going around that they're going to somehow bring back Brian's character. And I don't know how it will be done. There's been many rumors floating around on how it would be done. honestly, I just think you should just leave the character Brian alone. Like, his legacy already stands by itself. It stands on its own. I don't really think you need to do any more with Brian. We do get the reveal of the Hobbs coming back towards the end because, again, Jason Momoa did not get stopped, and they end the movie on a cliffhanger, and that cliffhanger is Gal Gadot being alive and Hobbs coming back. Again, Hobbs played a big part in Reyes dying and stuff in Fast Five, so of course Jason Momoa is going to come after him as well. They did not stop Jason Momoa in this movie, which pretty much set you up for the next 1 or 2 movies. I don't know what the rumor is or which one is true. I'm hoping they just do one more and end the franchise there. But knowing them, they gonna reach for the stars and may give us 2 more, even though nobody is asking for it. Guys, we're done. I'm telling you, you got to end this story. You got to end this story. Like, the cast is not getting any younger. We've been with this cast and they were super young. I think Ludacris was still actively rapping when Too Fast, Too Furious came out. And I think Tyrese had pretty much wrapped up his singing career and started focusing just on acting. Now, I will say Too Fast, Too Furious is what pretty much blew these two up as far as actors. I feel like Ludacris... Actually, no, I'm going to take that back because I was about to make a false statement. I was going to say Ludacris is one of the best rappers turned actor, but that is false. That title belongs to Ice Cube and will always belong to Ice Cube. So, but I feel like Too Fast, Too Furious is what gave Ludacris and Tyrese, especially Tyrese, more opportunities to be in different movies. But like I said, this movie was entertaining. Was it good? Hell nah. Was it entertaining? Fuck yeah. But I honestly, when they finally start dropping stuff for the next one, again, I'm not going to go pay to see it in theaters. I'm going to wait till you put that shit on Peacock or whatever other streaming service you want to put it on, because I'm not wasting my money to go see it in theaters. So, but anyways, man, that's all I really got to say about this movie. This movie... Oh, man, this movie, man, it was such a rough watch for me. I even tried rewatching it yesterday and I passed the fuck out, man. Let me tell you, this movie was such a rough watch to me. And I genuinely enjoy some of these Fast movies. Like, genuinely, some of these movies are good, despite all the crazy stunts. But, whew, these last 3, man, 8, 9, and 10, bro, whew, have been some rough watches, especially 9 and 10. 9 and 10 have been rough. So I hope y'all circle back and do some good shit for the next movie. For the people who always say, man, they should have stopped it, or they stopped watching when it stopped becoming about racing, let's keep it a buck. This Fast movies were never about racing. I don't know where y'all got that from. The whole story in the first one was this man trying to stop a ring of thieves. It had nothing to do with racing. Racing was just involved because they happened to race. So yes, racing was involved, but that was never what these movies were about. There's no way you could have made 10 movies about just racing. So I want y'all to come off that, because that's not what these movies are about. Did these movies graduate into something, gradually go into something we didn't see them doing, essentially becoming the race car version of the Avengers? No, we didn't see that coming. Like, I didn't see them basically becoming the Avengers who drive cars super well. So we did not see that. I didn't see them getting superpowers later on down the road. Excuse me. 3 people got superpowers: Dom, Cypher, and Shaw. Deckard Shaw, not Owen Shaw. Even Tyrese mentions it in, like, I think at 8 or 9. I can't remember which one they go to space in. I think it's 9. 9, they go to space. Tyrese even mentions it, like, at some point in the movie, like, look how many wrecks we survived. We can't die. Like, it becomes like a thing, like him saying, like, we're lucky. We can't die. They're immortal, whatever, which is essentially the case because, whew, every last single character in this franchise has plot armor like a motherfucker, bro. Most of these motherfuckers should have died already, honestly. Especially Dom. Dom should have been dead like 82 times already. Let's keep it a buck. And him and his son should have been dead when they jumped off that dam in the scene. Like, bro, how you turn on a can of Nas with your car actively on fire in the back and that shit just don't blow up? Make it make sense, because the math ain't mathin'. That's all I'm saying. But that's all I really got to say about this movie. If you want to check it out for yourself and see what I was talking about, hop on Peacock. And watch yourself from Fast X, Fast Kids, whatever the hell you want to call it. Fast XYZ, Elemental P, whatever. Get on, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, that's my time. Keep it classy, motherfuckers. Deuces.